I want to see LeCrone Park packed. I want to see Westfield Park packed. I want to see Oakland Park packed. You don't want to be a practice player, do you? Or perhaps some of y'all do. Some of the kids that we know who hadn't gotten any better from the time they were sophomores to the senior years, but it's all upon your effort. Put in that work over the summer. Hey everyone, welcome back to another edition of Coach Rodo's Winner Regardless podcast. Today, let's talk about what should transpire with this summer coming as far as these young athletes. Some of them are transitioning into track, some are transitioning into baseball and other spring, summer sports before the next year school athletic start. Also too, you have AAU basketball going on. You have football 7-on-7 camps coming up and going on, things of that sort. I always like to find out what kids are doing in the summer to get better because a lot of that stuff is team stuff. Um Man, AAU, I'm a fan of it, but kind of mixed emotions about it because it's fun going to the tournaments. It's fun seeing your kid play against other competition, against people that they wouldn't otherwise see. But it takes away from the time that they could be at home in the gym getting skill work, because they're playing, 3 games a day, 3 days, sometimes 3 days in a row. And, that can be tough. I got a little cousin who plays for East Lansing. She's pretty tough. You know, Last year, I thought my cousin did a tremendous thing. They were moved. They moved her up to play for this other team, and she didn't know the girls. Girls didn't know her. A lot of girls went to school together, and they played with each other. So it was kind of icing her out. And my cousin was getting kind of frustrated, and so I said, why don't you just pull her out, and you know, you got 3 more weeks, put her in the gym for skill work. And that's what he did. And it paid off because it allowed her body also to heal from nicks and knacks. It also allowed her to rest. It allowed her to refresh and get a refocus on the game. And man, I tell you, she had a great year again this year. She was a junior. I think she averaged like 17, 18 a game, played for East Lansing. She's a talent. And with that being said, I think that, as a parent with this AAU stuff, sometimes, it's we get carried away because we love to do it and we do it for us, more than the kid per se. Not all of the parents, not all the parents, of course not, but a lot of them do. And, those ones who do. It's okay for our kids to rest. It's okay for the kids to want to have a break because the thing about resting is, your body needs to recover. It's a long season. And then, you throw in 30 games in the summertime, maybe even more, there's really no off time in between there, which is why I'm a big proponent of kids getting skill work. You don't have to like take them out of basketball completely, take them out of AAU completely, hey, he's not gonna play this weekend, but he will go to the gym, for 2-3 hours those days of those games and, put in work, and work with someone. My cousin works with this guy up there in Lansing named Edwin, and Edwin's been working with kids for shoot ever. I mean, I remember when we were real little kids, he was working with kids. He's wasn't that much older than us, but you know, um skill work is big all summer. I mean, the thing that I always tell kids, I tell the young kids, you guys got technology we didn't have. You guys got cell phones. All you got to do is go to YouTube and, I would tell my kids when I coached them, man, just type in what you want to work on, and a whole list of drills will come up. And just get you behind. Hey, you don't have to even, and you don't even have to go to a gym. You can go to the park. We basketball can be played outside as well. You know, get you some games outside of your AAU and all of that stuff. Get you some 5-on-5s. Go to the park. Get some, go there. Say today I'm working on nothing but passing. We gonna win every game. The thing that I see a lot of kids around here not doing is they don't put in individual work. They go straight to team basketball, and then they come home after that weekend or whatever, and they chilling out, hanging out with each other. Maybe have one practice during the week, which most teams do. They have one or two practices during the week, but the thing that the kids that I like are the ones that are still trying to get better. You know, I know you're saying that I'm crying rest at the same time, but skill work and playing are two different things because, when you playing, you're banging into other bodies. You might trip over somebody. You might die for a loose ball or something like that. But when you're in the gym, you're doing specific work. You're doing specific skill work. So the wear and tear on the body is not as much. It's because you're focused. It's focused workout versus, having 9 other bodies on the floor that you have to maneuver around. Um, I I mean, it's paramount that you take advantage of your summer if you're trying to get better and you're trying to improve your position on perhaps your upcoming team for the next year. I always try to tell kids also you can even work out while you're playing AAU basketball. I know that makes you tired. I don't know. My kid was a freaking anomaly because he would work out anyways. He didn't care. I'd be like, man, you got to rest this weekend. You got to tournament this weekend. I'll be straight, Dad. I'll be straight. You just have some kids are like that. You just have those type of kids. And those are the kids that are going to be, excuse me, those are the ones that's going to be fine because they don't know how to stop playing. That's how he was. He did not know how to stop playing. Even after the AAU day, he would still go up to the Y and continuously play. He would go across town and play with his friends. He would go up to the athletic Bronson Athletic Club here in town and play up there. I see a lot of these kids when they're done at the AAU and they rest and don't put any skill work in. How do you expect to get any better? How do you expect to um, elevate yourself to a different position on the team as far as getting in the game or even being in the game, starting the game? Watching the kids this basketball season, Kalamazoo Central is going to have a hard time next year. Because the talent is so, to me, anyways, it was so despairing from your first 6 to your next 6. The talent was leaps and bounds different. I saw guys who are going to be expected to handle the ball not very good at handling the ball. They either over dribble or they get seized up on their weak side of the ball, and they don't make crisp passes. I mean, these are guys that are going to be point guards. These are guys that are going to have your ball. These are guys that are going to make passes and run the offense. I saw in a few kids on the JV team that I thought were better than some of the kids that weren't in the rotation on the varsity team. They were energetic, played hard, played well, but again, shooting is going to be an issue for Kalamazoo Central. So I urge these kids to get in the gym and just shoot, man. Get on a shooting machine. The thing about it is, none of these kids don't ask to go to the gym in the summer. And I know I get this from the coaches, like the coaches be aching to take these kids into the gym and get on a shooting machine. You know, it, you talk about us getting better and us making that leap, you know, to make that leap, you got to have the kids buy into it. The thing is, down in Lansing, most of the kids buy into it because Lansing is so big that you never want your boy who live across town who play for, let's say, if you play at Everett, your boy who play at Sexton, you don't want him to be better than you. So, what's up? What you doing? Now I'm about to go to the gym and hit this workout. What you doing? I'm about to go hit the workout too. I'll see y'all. We'll hook up after we get done working out. We don't have that here. Even though the coaches are willing to do it, you don't have the kids that want to do it. There used to be a time when Kalamazoo Central was winning state championships, or at least going where, man, that Coach Thomas couldn't keep the kids out the gym. But again, those were different kids. Those were the kids who understood. They were Kalamazoo Central Giants, world class, and they took that to heart. And I don't think today's generation of Kalamazoo Central kids are in they understand what that means to be a giant. And even if you don't, you still supposed to take pride in it. You're supposed to understand why it's important that you're a giant, and why it's important to put in the work and put in the extra work. But then I go over to Lloyd Norks, where my buddy is over there, and Rodney this summer is going to have a lot of new faces, a lot of things that he's got to do to take care to prepare his team to get better, prepare his kids to get better. And I really hope that the kids buy in. I really, really hope that these kids understand that they're going to have to put in the work too. The thing about what we do with our kids, we don't teach our kids that you got to work twice as hard as the coach, because the coach is depending on you to help him be better, help the team be better. And in order to do that, you have to put in your extra work. You know, Over the summer, I want to see kids walking down the street dribbling the ball. I want to see LeCrone Park packed. I want to see Westfield Park packed. I want to see Oakland Park packed. I want to see kids, wanting to go into the gym. I want to get calls saying, "Hey, they're over there at the gym. Go over there and check out the local talent." I would love to do that because I love doing those things. The thing about it is we got to have our kids wanting to do that. We got to have our kids wanting to get better. We got to have our kids understand that there's parts of your summer, there's parts of your spring that you got to sacrifice. What's 2 hours? What's 2 hours in a day to sacrifice to get better? I mean, some of these kids might not even play AAU. Like my kids that are going to college, they're not going to play summer AAU. They've already committed and things of that sort. So what are you going to do in the summer? Are you going to just accept that I'm going to college and I'm a freshman, so I ain't going to freaking play? I don't, because I mean, plenty of freshmen play. I mean, and that's really the telltale of how much you really care about the game, or how much you care about getting better as a player. You know, what are my kids that are going to college going to do? Are you going to, just like I said, you're just going to settle? Are you going? I'm going to school. I'm going to college. I'm a freshman. I got 3 more years to play. I'll just learn the system this year. That's bogus to me. That's a waste of a whole year. That's a whole year you could have went JUCO and played. That's a whole year. 'Cause the one thing that these kids don't understand, there's no substitution for playing time. You don't want to be a practice player, do you? Or perhaps some of y'all do. And those that don't want to be practice players, this summer, get your ass in the gym, get your ass in the park. Rain don't hurt nobody, so what is raining? And the ball don't bounce, but you can still shoot that bad boy. Run over there, pick it up, and shoot it again. Go get that work. If you a football player, get out there, run you some routes. Run you some hills, do you some bends and thrusts. Get your behind, do a bunch of push-ups, get out there and run around your city. Throw you a weight vest on. Do you 1,000 jumping jacks a day. I mean, there's all kind of things you can do to get better this summer, and I want to see that because I want to see kids get better. I want to be there to cheer you on. I want to be there to say, man, who is that kid? I love finding out who the new kids are when I see them, and there's something about them, and there's an effort that they put in because that's something that's a part of them. That ain't nothing that you can coach or you can teach. To see how hard a kid works or see how far along a kid works. There was a young lady who's a freshman on the Kalamazoo Central varsity basketball team. Love this girl to death. Come to all of our workouts, and then I watched her this year. She became one of the main staples as a freshman on the varsity basketball team. And he ain't have nothing but one senior, and she was one senior, and the one senior was the starter. The rest of them was sophomores, juniors, and freshmen, and they freaking went to the regional. Nobody expected that from that team, and that girl was a big part of it. But the thing about her was when she came to our workouts, we saw just how hard she worked, and we knew. You just knew that she was going to be that that girl because she wouldn't be denied. Even when she couldn't do the exercises, she still tried. And that's all we asked to do. And then eventually, again, she got him. I mean, my hat's off to that girl, Caesar. I wish I remember her name, and I'm going to find it, and I'm going to remember it, and I'm going to talk about her again. I want to have her on because I know her people. But anyway, I digress. That girl there took a lot of time and got better, worked over the summer. Hopefully this summer she's doing the same thing. It's things like that. It's stories like that that we like to tell as coaches. It's stories like that we like to talk about to other athletes, your peers, to let you know this is the things that your peers are doing to get better, to better themselves. So maybe that'll hype you up. So again, with your seasons being over and with, you moving on to different sports, and if basketball or football is your main sport, I hope you take the time this summer to put in a whole lot of skill work. Skill work, skill work, skill work. And get some 5-on-5 run and out the ordinary 5-on-5 run. You know, get some run with some cats you don't even know, or you know, even if it's with your boys, play against your boys. Get some run like that. And for my football guys, hey, just get bigger, just get stronger, just get faster, just get meaner. You know, uh, uh, Work on your reading reaction time. That's what I tell my nephew out there at USC. I was watching some of his games, and he would tell me, he was like, I was there. I was there. And I would be like, you know what? You is there. You just got to trust your anticipation, trust your instincts, which is your read and reaction time, and which he started to do. And he was towards the end of the year, he was there. And I don't know, it might not have had nothing to do with what I said. It might have just been time or whatever. But the fact of the matter is, it made me feel like it was. It made me feel good because I started seeing him making tackles. I started seeing him reading and reacting a lot quicker than he used to. Instead of the action coming to him, he would read where the action is going and he'd go meet the action, like you're supposed to do. So, if whatever your sport is, and then you coming up on this summer and you out of it, take that time to get better, stronger mentally, physically. You get your stamina up. Do the things that'll make you um formidable when it comes to that sport. Do the things that'll make people look at you as if you have improved. Don't be like some of the kids that we know who hadn't gotten any better from the time they were sophomores to the senior years. That you we got a lot of that around here. We got to get away from that. Don't listen to people who tell anybody who tells you how good you are, just know that you aren't that good. you know, that's the problem. 'Cause we lie to the kids all the time. Not we, because I'm gonna tell you the truth. Again, that's why kids come to me, but parents don't like to hear what I gotta say because I will tell the kid, because I'm be honest with you from being a coach. Don't 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 believe what they tell you. You are never, ever as good as they told you. If the GOAT, who to me is Michael Jordan, says Everybody told me how great I was, but not to me. I wasn't even the best in my own family because of his brother he said was better than him. Shannon Sharp, the same thing. Why am I going to listen to you? Why are you going to listen to somebody else? You don't be satisfied with somebody else telling you how good you are. Until you read your name in the paper and not just once or twice, until you constantly in the paper, until them notes is showing up at your front door, until showing up in your mailbox, until them boxes of college gear. We want you to come here, show up on your door. You can always get better. You can always work harder. Not saying that you can't get there, because you can get there, but it's all upon your effort. Put in that work over the summer. Basketball, every day of the week you should be working out, and every week you should work on a new move. Work on something that you didn't know. And that's 4 weeks. And so for that 4 weeks, so for the first week, you work on something you couldn't do. Second week, you work on something you couldn't do, but you combine that thing that you did from the first week. Third week, you combine those two with the third week. Fourth week, you combine those three with the fourth, so on and so forth. That's how you get better. That's how you improve your game. It's just a simple formula. You just got to be willing to do it. You got to be willing to put in the work. Thank you for tuning in and taking the time to listen to me. For all of my athletes, I hope y'all pay attention and go put in that work this summer and get better, because, again, I would love to be able to ask who you are and watch you and cheer for you all year long next year. Coach Rodo's Winning Regardless signing off.